My wife's best friend walked into my hotel room. The truth she brought saved my marriage. The knock on my hotel door came exactly 3 minutes before I planned to leave forever. My suitcase was already zipped, my wedding ring rested on the bedside table, and my heart had never felt heavier. I thought it would be room service or housekeeping. Instead, when I opened the door, I found my wife Rebecca's best friend, Grace, standing there with tears in her eyes. She looked at me for a long moment before quietly saying that if I walked away now, I would spend the rest of my life believing a lie. Before we continue, if you believe that kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these heartfelt stories reach people who need them the most. My name is Jacob Turner, and I had spent 12 years building a life with Rebecca in Charleston, South Carolina. We weren't wealthy, but we had a warm home, Sunday church, neighbors who knew our names, and dreams that always seemed bigger than our bank account. We laughed over burnt dinners, celebrated small victories, and believed we could survive anything. But somewhere along the way, life became louder than love. Long work hours, unpaid bills, caring for my aging father, and endless misunderstandings slowly replaced the conversations we once treasured. We stopped listening because we assumed we already knew what the other was thinking. 3 weeks before that hotel stay, I discovered messages on Rebecca's tablet that shattered my trust. They were affectionate, personal, and signed only with the letter A. My heart filled in every blank with fear. I confronted her, but instead of calmly explaining, we both spoke through anger and hurt. She insisted there was more to the story, but I refused to believe her. I packed a suitcase and accepted a temporary construction project in Savannah, Georgia, convinced our marriage had reached its end. The hotel overlooked the river, but even the beautiful view couldn't quiet the storm inside me. Every evening I stared at families walking together along the waterfront, wondering how strangers could look happier than the woman I had promised to love forever. Pride became my closest companion. I ignored Rebecca's calls, deleted her messages without reading them, and convinced myself that silence was easier than forgiveness. Then Grace appeared at my hotel room. She stepped inside carrying a small folder that looked ordinary, yet she held it as though it contained someone's future. Grace had known Rebecca since childhood. She had watched our relationship grow from awkward first dates into a marriage filled with genuine affection. She wasn't there to choose sides. She was there because she couldn't allow two good people to lose everything because of assumptions. Inside the folder were copies of medical reports, financial paperwork, and handwritten notes. Rebecca had secretly been arranging treatment for my father's worsening condition after learning he had hidden serious health problems from both of us. The mysterious messages belonged to Aaron, a hospital social worker who had been helping coordinate affordable care and financial assistance. Rebecca had kept everything quiet because she wanted to surprise me once every detail was secured. She knew my pride would never let her carry the burden alone. As Grace gently explained everything, another truth surfaced. Rebecca had never stopped trying to reach me. Every unanswered call, every unread message, every letter she mailed to the hotel had been an attempt to explain what I had never given her the chance to say. The weight of my own assumptions nearly brought me to my knees. I looked out the hotel window as the evening sun reflected across the water. I realized I had spent weeks collecting evidence to support my fears while ignoring every memory that proved Rebecca's character. The woman who stayed beside me through layoffs, illness, and disappointment deserved one conversation before I sentenced our marriage to an ending it never deserved. That night I drove through the darkness back to Charleston. Every mile felt like a chance to undo a terrible mistake. My hands shook as I pulled into our driveway. Rebecca opened the front door before I could knock, as though part of her had been waiting there every evening. Neither of us rushed forward. The silence between us carried weeks of pain, disappointment, and hope. Instead of defending ourselves, we finally listened. We cried over words we should never have spoken and apologized for the trust we had allowed fear to destroy. Rebecca admitted she should have told me about my father's situation from the beginning. I admitted that love without trust becomes fragile, and trust without communication cannot survive. We chose honesty over pride and grace over being right. My father eventually received the treatment he needed. Recovery wasn't instant, but every small improvement reminded us what truly mattered. Grace never accepted our endless thanks. She simply smiled and said that sometimes friendship means carrying the truth until people are ready to hear it. Months later, Rebecca and I returned to that same hotel, not because we wanted to remember our worst day, but because we wanted to celebrate the moment our marriage found its way home. We stood on the balcony watching the river flow peacefully below us. I realized that rivers keep moving not because they never meet obstacles, but because they always find another path forward. Before this story comes to an end, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and tell us, what do you think is the most important foundation of a lasting marriage? Trust, communication, forgiveness, or faith? Your words might encourage someone reading through the comments today. And if this story touched your heart or reminded you of someone worth forgiving, please consider liking this video, sharing it with your family and friends, and subscribing for more inspiring stories of hope, healing, and second chances. Sometimes the person who saves a marriage isn't a counselor or a miracle. Sometimes it's a faithful friend brave enough to carry the truth through a hotel door before two hearts make a decision they can never take back. And sometimes the greatest act of love is simply choosing to listen before saying goodbye forever.